That's right. This is the domestic product everyone has been waiting for. Fully modular hand-sealed Beitong Pangu in 2020. Today, Beitong really brought out the dishes from here. I believe it's not just me. I'm really looking forward to its official launch. You may have watched my video last year about the price limit on Beitong Pangu and the 12 associations. Everyone knows this controller really amazed me. I've been using this controller for over 3 months now. Today, let's talk about its various advantages and test its various parameters. But we go where no one else goes. Can we fall in love in the moonlight? The weight of a single phone without any accessories is 180.5 grams. So after removing it together, the overall look looks very light, stiff, and compact. Actually, you can't use it that way, right? So let's first talk about the design of these modules on the front. You can see that the front uses a double-layer structure. There is a double-layer lock here, which is used for the upper side of the switch. As you can see, press the lock compartment on the upper side to see it retract into the lower side. By the same logic, this helps us better secure our modules during actual use. Actually, I've used it for 3 months and never mentioned module drops, or situations you can't access. The structure is very sturdy. Moreover, both sides of the brain in the stability proof share the same modular structure. Each module in the full proof has a 6P interface module. Below, we also made a 6P interface module. Installation is very simple. Each module has a groove design above it. For accuracy, just press directly from the top of the controller. Pressing the switches on both sides like this, you can easily disassemble the modules above, which is very convenient. Speaking of modules, you can actually see the modules I explained earlier. Many of these are front-facing modules. Let's briefly sort it out. In fact, many of these were experienced at previous trial fairs. For example, you can see the red circles on both sides of the circuit joysticks, gray circle TAMO joystick, and a pair of TMR waist levers with built-in mechanical micro ABSY on the handle. So it's the mechanical micro switch ABSY layout. Of course, there are also options for optical micromotion ABSY and conducted fixed intersection ABSY. There are also omnidirectional manual keys with replaceable keycaps. This is also a manual key developed by Beitong, and the feel is excellent. Besides that, there are 2 other frontal modules I'm really looking forward to. So far, we've only made molds, but haven't finished the product. One is the steering wheel module. The steering wheel module can automatically center the center. Actually, it's quite interesting. Next, there's the touchpad module. You can press and touch. But for now, these 2 are just the same. As for the finished product, I'm still looking forward to Beitong's follow-up updates. We also look forward to their quick updates. I think that's what I think. The modules for these 2 controllers are quite interesting. Above Pangu, there may be students who see the little key, but it has small keys. Modules can be directly embedded into Type-C ports. It also supports output to the Type-C port on the rear. Here, you can actually insert the data key to operate the controller. Wired control, of course, refers to this small music module as a mother device. The little music module is also very much anticipated. The back can be updated quickly in the north. It's also a very interesting module. For example, motor modules. Surprised, right? Motor. Up to now, it can still be made into this modular design. You can disassemble it and replace it with a linear motor or a cloth motor. This allows you to experience the rotary motor. 3 different experiences, linear motors and motorless ones. The non-slip silicone APA on the controller also has a magic shot reduction. Currently, Betop has made a dark-colored anti-slip silicone product. APA can make a replacement. After all, some people might say this light color is prone to blackening or something like that. I also very much hope that Betop can do something different in the future. This is a textured anti-slip silicone APA. The key to the back is actually the module of the back piece. Currently, Beitong offers 2 models. One is the 2-point type. One is the 4-back support. As for the connection method, you can see these contacts. The Show Mao comes with these 2 back buttons, which I find very comfortable. Let's switch to the spider back key. Let's take a look. This is the 4-back key with the spider back. During my actual use, I found that this 4-back button is actually closer to the dual switch trigger num. But it doesn't affect actual gameplay since after all, when playing a game, you don't often switch triggers to talk about us. If you're playing racing, go straight to the long trigger. Uses linear break game models. If you like shooting games or action games, directly switch to the short trigger. Micro slow machine speeds up the start. For me, maybe I'd rather use a module with double keys, because both accessories are completely overused for me. As for the trigger, we mentioned it here. It's not only a dual switch trigger, but also has trigger vibration. It supports native trigger vibration in Bluetooth mode. and the second generation color vibration of the grip in both wireless and wired modes. Or it can trigger and trigger vibrations on its own. Next, let's install a few modules for testing. Here's the actual weight of the oil ear on the handle. Alright, right now we're using a symmetrical rocking layout. Let's test the actual weight of the controller. At this point, we've installed a dual motor mold. If you disassemble the motor, it might be lighter. As you can see, it's currently 317.8 grams. Let's compare it to the SBO controller. 290 grams compared to the PS5 modified rear key watch. 305.3 grams to be seen. Overall, Beidou Pangu's overall weight needs to be slightly heavier than the SBOX and PS5. But in reality, the difference isn't significant. Currently, you can see a symmetrical joystick layout. Some people might ask, does this symmetrical joystick layout have a center hand touch? During actual testing, it has already been optimized a bit. In previous versions, there might have been a well-known issue with fighting. Currently, the optimization is very good. The fingers in the center of a monster don't fight. After all, as the Lego of controllers, the Beidou Pangu module controller is actually the most important. This modular layout is allocated. Every player has their own preferences. For example, you can use the left foot stick and the two ABS-Y buttons on the right side like I did. It can be used as a fighting grip. If you like this kind of fighting style controller, you can just copy my configuration. For example, in the game Grid Game, the two modules on the right are replaced with ABS-Y. This is the light punch to the middle punch, the heavy punch to the green rush to the light leg to the middle leg, heavy kick, blue room, joystick, rocker. Still the 4-joystick layout. But actually, very few games actually use this kind of layout, right? Very few games can use it, which is a possibility. There may be a joystick input key ABS-Y. This VU faction is similar to Bullhorn Waba. This arrangement is quite interesting. If you play the Underground game, you'll know. There are a lot of buttons, right? The second is the sports style. You can set this key here, so there are 1233 by 1212 buttons. Can all be recognized as keys on a keyboard or a hand. Especially playful. The second one can be understood as 12 keyboard keys. Here is the plan key. If you want to press other keys, just map directly. Each key can be used as a keyboard or pen. Any button is very convenient. But what if you want to play some designed games? The symmetrical snow cliff layout is also a top choice for many players. I saw that you can set this controller on the settings page. For wired wireless with a maximum return rate of 1000 Hz. Next, let's test its joystick and various parameters. Let's first test the total trigger operation of the original TML lever. About 50 granules, 0.5 N, 50 granules. Next, let's test the trigger force of the TML lever. 60 granules, about 0.6 nanometers. 60 granules. Alright, next let's test the capacitors. The lumbar tube damping is about 55 particles. About 55 granules. At 0.55 Newton, you can see that the resistance is quite different. What about lighter TMR capacitors? Next is the 2X4000, which is the heaviest. Next, let's test the trigger force of these two ABS-Y models in my hands. First is the SBOX layout with mechanical cornering. About 100 pellets. The mechanical switch ABS-Y layout in the NS layout also has a starting force of 100 chips. Both mechanical switches have ABS-Y, actuating at 100 particles. Conductive adhesive and optical shafts may be quite different. The adhesive may be a bit stronger. The optical axis may be a bit smaller. Mechanical switches may tend to be in a neutral position. I think the feel is quite good. 100 granules trigger force. Wouldn't you say it's light? It is not light. You might say it's heavy, but it's not heavy. It's a very loyal trigger. The feel is quite good. The return to the womb is very powerful. And the texture is very crisp. The trigger gives a strong sense of confirmation. Alright, let's test those dozen modules. About 90 particles, roughly a hand feel. The feel is slightly lighter compared to ABS. It's a light touch cheat mode. The feel is truly refined. The feel is great. Gradually, the actuation force feels about 130 millimeters. It's a relatively crisp water switch, and it's even better to build a better trigger. What we just mentioned is a double switch trigger. Switch to linear trigger. It is a linear road more suitable for playing racing games to control the accelerator and brake. Switching back to short trigger, which is our micro trigger, the feel is very good. What about the micro trigger? Let's take a look at how it has been completed. The sword length is between Kunpong 40 and Kompong 70. The sword isn't as long as 40, plus it's very close to the zero play trigger of the 70, and the feel is excellent. The bottom is very soft and the answer is quick. Let me check the other buttons on the controller. On the front, there are 3 buttons: back, start and AI. Actually, I think it's better if these 2 buttons are placed a bit lower, because sometimes these 2 buttons are a bit strained. But in reality, the vast majority of controllers are designed this way, next to the logo. As for the AI button below, you can swap out our AI assistant with one click. Press the AI button, and you'll see a convenient AI assistant here. We can directly perform various functions: adjusting the desperate assistant, community strategies, screen capture, game acceleration, screen recording, and so on. Some AI assistants offer convenient and quick operation. I want to adjust the lighting colors, brightness, frequency, or lighting mode. You can also tell me to shake the vibration and trust you more. Hello Tong Tong. Tong Tong is on standby with the lighting mode set to flowing light, to regulate your wellness. Tong Tong was still waiting for orders. Adjust the vibration to be more delicate. A little to adjust. As you can see, besides the AI button, Beitong, and also an AI voice assistant. After all, it's the flagship Pangu controller, so you definitely have to try all these features. Currently, AI voice can adjust the range of lighting and vibration to the psychological level. I'm also really looking forward to updates in Beidong. AI voice control settings for other modules. This way, you don't need to use software to learn more. For example, set the A key in the module at the bottom right of my keyboard to the control key. If this can be done like this, I think it's truly top-notch. It is estimated that this will be realized in the near future. You can see many of its self-contained cloud settings in the driver. There is a dedicated intelligent module here that can recognize it intelligently. What modules are you installing now? For example, it intelligently recognizes the hand button in the upper left corner, bottom left rocker, bottom right rocker. You can set ABSY in the upper right corner. ABS1, as I just mentioned. Each key is mapped to a key on the controller or keyboard. The rocking tube is very important here. Let's carefully customize the rocking tube. As you can see, I have defined the bottom right corner of the rock tube as the edge of the central dead zone can be square or round and can be switched. Here, you can customize it below the device prototype. Joystick curve switching and the second joystick curve. This part is really interesting. Some might say that when playing certain games, you need to quickly switch between 2 curves. Here, I've brought it out for you. All the functions you want, it's provided here. Then the joystick sampling rate can be seen from 12 bits to 8 bits. You can also set up some of the algorithms below to adjust them. For example, a few days of stabilization is called the Guizhong mode. Actually, my personal advice is, if you're a beginner, just open them all. Next, let's look at the driving force and the AI assistant trigger settings. Key settings, motion controls, vibration settings, lighting settings, and mouse modes. All the features of the top that should be given to you are now here. Let's talk about these sensations. Here, you can show joystick buttons and a mouse. You can also hold down the button to open it. Opening always starts and plans open. The modes can be either shooting or racing, different in the experience. Zero sense of origin, resignation, compensation is all given to you. If you want to activate motion, pay attention. You need to switch your motion control here. After opening it, you can see the overall feel is quite good. Personally, I don't use it much for my own experience. If you enjoy playing games using motion sensors, Beidong's feel is actually pretty good. Among domestic brands, this is also a pretty good experience. Let's test the cable quality of the shake meme technique. Next, let's test the joystick. You can see that the current screen can display an 890 Hz pollution rate. 12-bit joystick. Here is an 890 Hz 12-bit joystick. Let's check the TAM joystick performance. Let's draw a 45-degree angle. The rockerboard line is very straightforward and learns to chat so much. I still feel like there are many things I haven't said. There may be a few more videos in the future to discuss this separately. How exactly does the passive Pangu controller play? Where is the fun? After all, it had been used for more than 3 months. Actually, I've already made the advantages very clear. This controller is actually a very advantageous feature. Domestic modular block handles are used for promotion. Personally, I think it's still the top tier of modular controllers among domestic brands, because very few manufacturers can produce such modular controllers. After all, a big tech like Beitong has accumulated 29 years of experience. It has the financial resources to physically develop such modularity. Many manufacturers may want to do it but don't have the financial and material resources to realize the development of such modules. The controller of that module probably has 2 very important points for me. One of the points is, if the joystick or any part is broken, You can just buy a module directly, instead of disassembling and repairing the entire controller, or buy a new handle to use. Just swap out the module. Actually, this is more suitable, more convenient. Secondly, I think the pattern art is a bit more fun. It allows you to freely mix and match different layouts and various styles. Button and motor replacement are very comfortable. This is what I think makes this controller extremely playable. Currently, there are very few such handles. For example, every time I play a new game, I always think of this game. If Pangu from the Northern Cave comes to visit, what kind of key layout should I use to play? This game is a bit more enjoyable. Actually, that alone is enough for me to play any game. Just thinking about this Beitong Pangu makes you want to try it out. Currently, the design of certain pieces in the game I want to play is indeed quite novel. Beitong has been honing its skills for so many years. This Beitong Pangu model is finally about to be introduced to everyone. After all, no handmade shop is perfect. Actually, picking a cap shell is simple because no handle can be perfect. But whether Beidou or Pangu is its mold, or is it its comfort and overall taste, you can even reach the top of a certain controller right now. I also hope that Bukdong can develop all kinds of fun things in the future. To use this Beidong Pangu module. After all, buying a controller isn't cheap, especially for a controller with this kind of module. If you could swap for a module costing a few dozen yuan to enhance the experience. If you want to add freshness, this controller is really worth buying. So what do you all think about this Beidong stock? Feel free to share your thoughts in the comments section. Whether it's a pros or a disadvantages, I hope you can add something to the supplement. In the future, I might also frequently post some strategies for trading Beidong stocks. If you're interested, feel free to follow me in a timely manner. So I'll briefly organize the voucher link for Beidong Climbing Valley below the video. Interested friends can check it out. As for memorizing videos, that's all for our Beidong Climbing Valley. Here. See you in the next video. Peace.